Welcome to the Straight Talking Podcast. This week we have a Brazilian Irish man, black belt in Jiu-Jitsu, Hugo Borim. Also, just before I start, I'm giving a shout out to a good friend of mine in New York who's just retired from the NYPD after 20 years service, former US Marine, Kieran Tracy. Yup, enjoy your retirement. Anyway, Hugo, what's the story, man?
Not much. Thanks for the invitation.
No worries. Hugo has just won a pre-corona the gi and no gi world championships at brown belt.
No, I won only the no gi.
No gi.
I wish I won the gi as well, but I couldn't.
And the gi, how did you do in the gi?
No, in the gi I couldn't fight because they had a lock up there. I was planning to go now last June.
Okay.
That didn't work well. We had the tickets booked now, but it didn't work well as the corona lockdown. Aer Lingus gave me back the money.
Made a mistake. No worries. No gi. Sorry about all you gi players out there, but the no gi is the important shit. Fuck the gi. Gi's for pussies. Anyway, and how we'll talk about that and then we'll go back. How did you find? What was your preparation like for the no gi? How did you find? How was that build up for that?
Yeah, it was interesting because I didn't plan to fight the words as was in the thing. As a lot of people in SBG Charlestown and a lot of people there are close friends to me. They know that I had my own gym here and I worked through a lot of stuff and I fought a couple of years through the depression and after closed my business and shit hits the fan and was basically coming back to train. I met Des, there was a guy we training for us. We all know the
wrist locker.
The wrist locker. There are a lot of resistance. Des Resistance. A shout out for Des. Thanks for bringing me to SVG Charlestown and making mad strength for 6 a.m. And what comes off this, he made him an invitation and my coach came to Ireland in 2019, the year that I won the awards on the no-gi in December. And he decided to promote me to black belt after 6 years of brown, and I won the Europeans as well in 2016 and adults. Heavyweight because I want to eat pizza. And I was middle heavyweight and middle heavy, but it was a holiday with a family. The miss wants to eat pizza and I end up winning the heavyweight Europeans. But starts off this up and down the life, even like one guy that's a good friend of you said, and Pat Diviland, he's training for us, he says the life is like a heart monitor. If it's flat, you're dead. It's all up and down. Anyways, I came back to SBG and was training in there. My coach decided to not promote me and he said to everyone to watch out what was coming to happen. When he came in here, he was like, look, you go back at least to teach. And then I went back to teach for the kids with autism in Sutton. And from that's where I met Des in online. I started to do ads for my classes and I met him on Facebook, invite me and went to SBG Charlestown. I thought I was getting more to set up because I previously ruined my gym in Ireland and it was like SBG was a kind of competitor for my business. And I thought I was like, geez, out of depression, I'm getting set up. Like they're killing me in here. Yeah. And I share my live locations with my missus. No, that's not a joke. That's
not
true.
Brazil. Now we're going to shoot you.
Yeah, but we never know.
It's only a month.
We never know. Brazilian background. So I thought like, geez, I'm dying today. And then after 1 hour and a half, like we finished the workout, she texts me on WhatsApp, like, are you alive? And I was, God, I am alive. I did jiu-jitsu. And then from that, I planned to surprise my coach. I booked the ticket. I was working in retail and Brown Thomas as well. And I booked the ticket for America to fight the words. And I was paying installment 50 quid a month. but I wasn't like, I was just like all about to kind of to get promoted, and I wasn't planning to be world champion. Like I thought like might could happen or not. I wasn't a thing back then. It was just like to visit my coach gym in America, be in America for the first time, and the thing that I dreamed since I was like a young kid, poor kid in Brazil, and I couldn't afford to go. And eventually I start to put more efforts to training and drilling and coming to training for you and your son and up the lallies.
You up the lally.
Up the lallies. And for a cameraman as well, John. And with everyone in the Charlestown and everyone who was supportive of me. And one of the guys at Dave, the guy that runs Unitas Supplement, said, look, as you're fighting the wards, I'm going to jump on board to sponsor you. I gave him the Intramind, the supplement that helps me a lot in my mindset as well. And he also booked me to Berlin to fight the Berlin German, who's Berlin Open from IBJJF. And I fought Guy Nogi. Got smoked by a Russian guy in a gi match. Like he just took me down open class in the final of the open class. He just like kicked the shit out of me like in 1 minute. And this like just like gave him a bit of boost, and I said, look, I might be able to do it, the awards, and I won 2 gold medals and 2 silver medals, and came back to Ireland very happy, and everyone in Charlestown was like very supportive, like, oh man, like they're delighted that you did that. But it wasn't like I was only coming back, you know, I didn't know, like I was like, right, I was European champion, and I was the year after I was working as a bean man, picking everyone else being, you know, all the gaffs around there.
Yeah.
And anyways, I went there, did like a mad diet and cut weight for 79, and went there, kind of twisted my knee in the first fight and went to my coach's shoulder. Like I remember as soon as I put my hands on his shoulder, I was like, I fucked my knee in this fight. In the first round, I couldn't tap the guy. I got a lot of good opportunities to tap him, but it was a very tough fight in my first fight. And he said, like, are you going back home? Like, what are you doing? And I was like, no, do you know what? That was always my dream to be here. I always dreamed to fight the awards and go to America as a Brazilian poor kid that never had the conditions financially, mentally, and visa as well.
Yeah.
Like, you know, go back to your own country. That thing from Brazil.
Over the bleeding fence, bleeding partners.
Yeah, get out of here. And he called my miss, like, helped me to do all the process for the American visa. And then I went there, fought through this knee, had in a final there, and the final eventually even double leg the man.
No cooking the chicken.
No cooking the chicken, a double leg at the very last minute. And a lot of people, I was actually some haters posting like, yeah, Hugo hold for be world champion, and you know, hold. And a lot of people, like, everyone knows me like on SPG chair stuff because I have this mentality of cook the chicken. But at the end of the day, like, what medals, it's what matters.
IBJJF's points, man. You know, it's not sub only.
Yeah, but like
like the real set.
A lot of people were complaining about me, saying, yeah, Hugo. Even in Irish posts, like an Irish group, people were saying, Hugo hold to be champion, you know, like, I think like...
Who? Name the cunts.
No,
Who the fuck is saying that?
No, I can't name.
Here, if you're saying that, you're a shitbag.
You know, I used to name people when I arrived in Ireland.
Couldn't have been anyone from the East Coast anyway, because they all hold down for dear life. 2 points.
No, wasn't from East Coast. I have a good friendship with Marcus, feeling from East Coast.
Marcus is sound. Marcus is a nice fella. Nice, good lad.
He's still only one in there. So one of my ex-students joined to train in there. I actually have like one of my PT clients. Actually, I'm not going to mention his name because he's my PT client. He comes from East Coast, and I don't know if they were really agreeing with that.
Gretchen.
Yeah, Creonch.
Yeah, bleeding doorbag, Jim Jumper.
And I have like Teen Brianos. I have like SBG. I have East Coast. I have Georgetown. So I have like people from everywhere doing PTs, and for me nowadays, my job, my full job. Yeah. Thank God that I'm doing this because that's all I wanted to do. And I never thought to be in the Lali's house doing a podcast. Thanks for the invitation.
No worries. And give your sponsor, the supplement sponsor, a proper shout out. What do they supply you with? Because if they're sending you on to trips, give them a proper shout out.
Yeah,
and follow them on Instagram.
That one, yeah. Intramind, it's a supplement, it's a mental supplement, no tropics. No, how do you pronounce that better?
No tropics.
No tropics.
Yeah.
Thanks, John Lally, for the correct pronunciation. I'm sorry.
So it's similar to an Alpha Brain type, the on it one.
Yeah.
Exact same.
Yeah, but I don't know much about this one, but like I never even heard before I take the Intramind, but really change. It's like the days that you don't really want to go to the gym, like you take that and it keeps I have to go, like moves. It's like, I don't know, because I used to be, I was too mad for coffee. So today you gave me a very good coffee. So I would recommend for people really feel that go off the coffee for you really feel.
Yeah.
But as I love coffee and I'm a hard worker, for me, if I take or not, I'm still gonna work a horse. But like when I take it helps me work the double. And I go over my red line that I should rest it.
And they're Unitas supplements.
Unitas Life, it's the name of the company. And they're going to be coming out for whey protein. They're going to be coming on the market now.
Super.
So at the minute, they're only doing an Intramind. That's a mental supplement. But in the future, they will do like a whey protein there. Whey protein and everything. Unitas Life, Intramind. Give us a shout on Instagram and all the social media and buy it.
Yeah, I heard it's good stuff. Heard it's good
Thanks
stuff.
for the
opening. No worries. when listen, I'm the same with Max. If a company is giving you something, doesn't matter what it is, for free. I see all these athletes that get this stuff for free. Give them a shout out.
Yeah.
Because even if they're giving you for free, it's costing them money, so give them a bleeding shout out.
And a thing like that, it's a good for you to mention. And I said that to Owen Rod the other day because Owen's the best MMA coach on the business.
He's very good.
He's like coach striking to Conor McGregor, and like not even him, like loads of we have plenty good, amazing strikers in the gym, like Jerry Harris, Scott Harvey, Corta, Ian. Like, I'm sorry if I forgot one name, but like Alex, all the teenagers, your son, like Lally's, the whole family, like in the whole lot. It's a good strikers gym. And the thing of like the shout out, it's a lot of, it's more than only in the cameras. A lot of people, like every time that Owen pulls me out for do a pad, I say, man, I feel blessed,
Yeah.
I have this guy here doing pads for me, Even I feel blessed to have that invitation of you, because I didn't have a sport. I'm the first sportsman in my family,
Yeah.
And I feel blessed to be able to live off it. And obviously, like I'm not the richest man in the world, but it's all about my standards. My standards are good enough for me. I'm happy with what I have.
Yeah.
So even if I have like a yacht, or even if I have my car that drove me in here today, but a lot of people train in the gym in there in SBG, and I don't see that. Appreciation. I don't know. Appreciation of Owen Roddy there, and then you have like a lot of other guys there up there to teach you. And I'm like, even when I land in there, like I was world champion doing Donny Howe classes and Scott Harvey classes. They're like purple belts, and they were teaching me mainly, and I was grafting on their classes. That's like things that people sometimes don't realize. That's for opportunity that you gave me to talking about the supplement. And then the gym, sometimes they don't realize how blessed they are to have Owen Roddy there, to have Max, your son there, he hooks everyone, to have like
Danny, Scott,
Corta, everyone, Jared, like it's a plenty, like it's a like you have strikers there, you have like lockers, you have like wrestlers, Clinton, wrestler, you have like every single, like you have like guys from Taekwondo, you have kickboxers, Dean Barb kickboxer, Sean McConnell, the Taekwondo, you have like everyone from like a car, like my boxing coach that's a boxer as well.
I find with Roddy, like Roddy has been in headquarters. So Roddy, when I brought Max to headquarters, I think he was 10 when I brought him first of all. Roddy was his jiu-jitsu coach.
But by the way, how old is Max? Because it's like I have been training with him. He's like
He's 16.
He's 16.
Yeah.
Like the past 3 years.
Yeah,
What's going on?
He's 17. He's 17.
Grows.
He's 17 in August.
All right, fair enough.
But when I bought Max too, I didn't know Roddy was his coach, and he used to do the jiu-jitsu. But everyone says, "Oh, Roddy's striking, and Owens, and he's Conor McGregor's." His fucking jiu-jitsu is top fucking notch.
No joke about his guillotines.
Top notch guillotines. His top notch. His takedowns. His MMA grappling is whatever about the striking is top quality. But Roddy's fucking jiu-jitsu is top class, like savage. Everyone always kind of leaves that in the back burner. If you want to see some top level fights and heart, Shannon Gilgerty, Owen Roddy, get onto YouTube, give it a look.
It's not even. I say
you're all blessed with Roddy down there. Yeah,
I
blessed.
said that to Donny Hall this week. Was a couple of weeks ago. I actually said that a lot of people don't talk about Owen Roddy's jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
You know? And his guillotines are unbelievable, man. That's like such a good spot. It's like a Donny Hall deep half guard or Max the heel hooks, and it's like a very good point in Owens. And obviously, he's not IBJJF rules guy that is going to be like, this is a 2 points, this is like an advantage professor. You know, he's not that type of guy because he doesn't want that. He wants MMA.
Yeah.
That's what he works in. And he's jits for MMA. It's like, man, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Like, that's what I'm saying. I feel blessed to have the opportunity to be in there learning everything of him, because this week he was teaching me like wrestling, striking, you know, once it goes to MMA, he's amazing. He's amazing on jiu-jitsu. He's amazing. But like people tended obviously to forget about how good he's in jits because he's Conor McGregor striking coach.
Yeah.
So, and then people see, Conor is like, he's the main man, he's the multi-millionaire, and forget about the leg lockers, in this building, the big structure, the big foundation that he has in the kids' programs and everything.
But there's some exciting fighters coming out underneath them. Yeah. Some exciting fighters, including yourself. You have something coming up soon which you can talk about in the future, but there's some really good guys coming out of that gym, you know. And me looking at other gyms, like Max trains wrestling under Sergey. He trains in headquarters, he does the MMA, and he loves going down to striking and the Nogi Jits class with you. So he's kind of in a few different places, but he loves training with all the boys, because the difference I find, everyone down Charlestown, the same guys are on the mat all the time. Like, you know, I see around another place, you know, fellas will come and go, but like down Roddy's is always full mats, and if you don't book your bleeding classes, you're not getting in. Yep.
Corona.
Who's booked in here? Get up. Off the mat. Yeah, get out.
It's same when I got here in a boat full of Brazilians. When I stopped in and hitting the microphone here, stopped in the bottom of Bull Island there. They said like, get out here, go back to your own country.
But Hugo is like myself. Fell in love with a board from D17, Dublin 17, Coolock.
I can't look like she
Hugo's
see that
partner
face.
Nicola is from Dublin 17. My wife is from Dublin 17. And the thing about Mott's from Dublin 17, to keep you honest, because when you're waffling now, you're doing that, and shut up you tick. Shut up you tick.
Even to go to the podcast.
But they'll kill someone for you and bury them under the patio. They're absolutely
you wouldn't
loyal.
even find out. They
butcher someone for you. But they just feel like, keep the old towel going, shut up you dope. You know?
I get an awful time of her. She's the hardest.
How many children have you got?
We have the ones in Ireland, or the ones I'm bringing from Brazil to get them visa.
To 20.
All right. So the ones that they're physically mine in Ireland, I have Isabel. She's 4.
Yeah.
She's our first beautiful kid. She's look like me, but the second one, Charlie, he looks more the milkman.
Yeah.
He's like blonde and like he looks very Irish, and they're the love of my life, including the missus. She's a hard worker, you know. She keeps the pace for me to be 24/7 on the gym, and even now, like that's why I look like a bit posh, you know. The gym gear 24/7 because like I run this podcast, I have to run. It's our date night, and I'm getting the kids. She's going out with her friends, and we have to meet together and have a food. But she's like all about it. Like I was like, I'm doing a podcast and laddies, and she's like, you are the bleeding whole week on that oxygen, and you know you wanna really fucking open a podcast. Are you for real? The fucking kids are ready. Oh, no, of course. But anyways, that's it. The D17 mock.
D17. Come here, Nicola. My young fella's in there fuming because he thought he was getting about 10 rounds out of Hugo. He was in there in his gear ready to go to town on Hugo, but there's no bleeding rounds. Hugo comes in the Miami Vice shirt and the whole lot. Looks like he's going to the Coca Cabana. Yeah. He's not impressed, Nicola. Max is not impressed. No rounds out of Hugo.
Thank God my heels are I feel safe. I have no rounds in the bitch.
Hugo's one of Max's favourite training partners, so you shouldn't say that about many people. Yeah, one of his favourite training partners.
I wouldn't say I'm his favourite training partner because like every time like I have him on my heels, like he's not my favourite. I was like, get out here, run away.
So getting back, why did you, so you grew up in Brazil?
Yeah.
And start doing jiu-jitsu. How did you get into jiu-jitsu? How did you start? What did you see? Did your parents get you in, a friend get you in? How did you discover jiu-jitsu and how did you start doing it?
So how long is it going to take this podcast? Yeah. It's going to take like probably 10 hours because it's too much shite talking here now.
How did you discover jiu-jitsu?
Look, I don't just like from the beginning, I want to set that in that pace because like it could be a lot of haters out there, and I'm not playing the victim and I'm not playing the drama card.
Haters. You know we do the haters on the podcast. Haters.
Up the lads.
Fuck the haters.
Fuck yous out. But it has to be said, you know, like it's some people out there could be struggling the same things that I struggle from the beginning. Some people from the same neighborhood that I'm from, or some people there and in Ireland struggling to depression that I fought against, or problems that I have in the beginning of my career. Like
just take your hand down because the sound goes shite.
Oh right, sorry. Apologize.
Go again, man.
And I was a hyperactive kid. I was poor on social skills. I was a bit shy. Nothing that what I am today. I'm talk to everyone. But in Brazil, my parents used to work 24/7. It used to be me and my brother going to school, come back to home, and then we, from the beginning of our lives, we didn't have like much condition. We couldn't pick and choose what to eat, and it was a very tough. Some of the houses on the neighborhood wouldn't have like surgery pipe, and if it rains, it was like a flooded nightmare, shit all over the place, and it was a very tough scene. But I had like a lot of jitsu in the neighborhood, and I got caught very young with cigarettes, Marlboro. I used to smoke chew. 10 years old, I used to smoke chew box of Marlboro Red, and I used to have my own job to finance that thing. At the same time, I used to every now and again I started capoeira when I was 9. My mom tried to put me in sports. No, 9, no, 6, sorry. 6. And she was kind of trying to, from work, manage the time that she wasn't working. We couldn't pay for minders, and I was hyper. My brother was hyper. She couldn't pay for minder, and our family relatives wouldn't have patience because we were too hyper, we were too little shits, and it was tough for her. And then one of them, she put me in capoeira first. That's how I started off 6 years old, and was in enough team. But like when 10 years old, I started on cigarettes and alcohol and skateboard, long hair, playing guitars and going crazy on drugs. And I find out jiu-jitsu a couple of years later, but it was a kids class, but it wasn't in my cup of tea back then. Even capoeira wasn't a thing. Like I was struggling with my own limitations. That was work to help at home and not having much condition and do jiu-jitsu. And only when I was like 16 that I fought in a competition, and I was juvenile. I was blue belt already, and then one of my coaches, my first coach, Ricardo Moreira, he used to teach only twice a week, and him and a Portuguese, my main mentor nowadays. Portuguese used to teach every day, and I used to do everyday class in Portuguese, and twice a week with my first coach, Ricardo Moreira, and another loads of lads in Brazil. But anyways, then they said, you gotta pick and choose, or you're gonna be one of the lads, or you're gonna be a fighter. And that was literally after winning my state championship in the juvenile, and I felt a bit out of the breath, but I managed to submit all the fights, and I got disqualified because it was at IBJJF rules, and I tapped the final with a guillotine with no arm in.
Okay.
And then I was only max age 16.
So standing or?
It's standing.
All right,
and choking out like this, and I got disqualified. But for me, I was the winner. I was like, fuck this. Like, I'm one of the lads. Like, teenager from the ghetto. Like, fuck this. I won it. That's my. And then I knew that when I turned 18, I would be able to do. But from that, I stopped with the bad habits and drugs and everything. And that's it. And then I start to compete heavy, and it's stopping for everything. I just like focus, and I think that's it from how I started. And then I did the judo as well. I did a bit of wrestling in Brazil. Start off boxing, but not as SBG Charlestown. That's a different level. But that's it from the beginning.
And when you came here then, so how did Ireland come up on the radar? How did you decide to come here, or what happened to bring you here?
Yeah, that's a funny one. I wasn't planning to come to Ireland. Back in Brazil when I was 19, like after like being years grafting, training a lot for like circus, and I stood a couple of years clown. I was like really like went to college to study clown. Like that's ridiculous, I know, but I stood it.
Yeah.
And it's a place they call Doutores da Alegria. It's like happiness doctors. They like to, I don't know if anyone knows, like Pat Adams. It's a guy that visited a cancer hospital in America.
Patch Adams.
Pat Adams.
Yeah.
He like plays with kids.
Yeah.
Like it's the same. The guy that opened this school in Brazil is the best in South America. He used to work with him in America and went back to Brazil and opened his own clown school. And that's how I learned. This wasn't when I was 19, and I left Brazil first time when I was 20, and I went to Germany to visit a cousin of mine. And I left to just like to suss it out because I was tired in Brazil to be a poor kid and trying to work, and I could not train, and I want to compete, and at some competitions I did not have the result that I wanted. The outcome wasn't coming as I wanted to come because I couldn't have time enough because I had to work to supply my own needs, my own family needs and stuff like this.
The work-life balance.
Yeah. And then I decided to leave Brazil, and that was the first time. And then I had like a little like agents, like events and marketing agents in Brazil, back in Brazil, used to call New Age Productions. And that was going quite well, but it wasn't the type of stuff that I would like to do. Like, because I used to hate to lick people. I was like, "Hi, sir, how are you today? Would you like a free water?" Like, "Hi, sir," like that. No, here, give it over. That sounds more me, more natural, like who I am, because I'm from that unprivileged area. So I related better with underprivileged people. Anyways, and then I went to Germany. It was like as a clown and teaching some jiu-jitsu seminars. I was on my purple belt, 19, and then I came back to Brazil. I saw that I could live off clown on the street. Back then, street artists used to not have to pay tax, and it was so good money. Like I was doing 300 per day, like as a clown on the street. And I was like, "Fuck, this is a great life. Like, much more than what I do in Brazil. Fuck this. That's what I love it. I will live off clown and jiu-jitsu and fuck this Brazil. Fuck this country. I hate Brazil. You know, like and." came back working a bit more, and my agents there sorting this out, left and came back to Germany. I actually applied for on a Klaus Blue Lake comedy, Delight Comedy School in America. They approved me for study arts there for free. Okay. But they said they wouldn't help me with my visa.
Okay.
So, and then it was easy for me to go to Germany with my cousin, visit him and travel around. I was like, no, you know what, I'm not going to bother to pay America visa because I can't work there. Yeah, Brazilian cannot work when they're student visa, you know, and I was like, fuck, I'm going to Germany just as tourist visa, traveled around the world. And I and I went to Germany and France and Israel, Turkey, Spain, and I was almost a year traveling around the whole globe doing clown and jit seminars. I was brown belt already, and then I went for my first time in Italy in end of 2013 or beginning of 2014. I think beginning of 2014. I was in Italy, and a friend of mine that used to live in here, she was in Italy doing her Italian citizenship, and she used to live in Ireland a couple of years previously, and she mentioned, look, if you want to really learn English. Back then my issue was the English and communication, to teach in seminars and juggling and arts on the street. I was getting a lot of opportunities, but I could not communicate very well to set up contracts and stuff, things like this. And then she told me, and then I was like, right, next week I was on a Ryanair flight to Ireland. And I came in here in a very bad situation, which is I had money to pay only 2 days hostel. It was a Bernax hostel in City Centre in town, really on the Temple Bar. It was a great buzz and a girl. First night here. That's
Barnaby's.
Barnacles.
Barnacles, I know.
Barnacles, really on a Temple Bar. Yeah. And I got 2 nights paid there. And I went to I was like, fuck. I had the money just to eat that night, you know, and I ate it. And I was fasting, went to the street, and the next day I was like, fuck, I have to make money to pay him some rent here. Yeah. And I went to the street, did a club very well. I met a friend of mine, which is starting out on a Brazilian accommodation for a lot of Brazilians in the same house, loads bunk bed to the fucking ceiling. Everyone living together.
Brazilians.
Yeah, Brazilians with no coronavirus back then, no masks, no nothing. We're all spreading the fucking disease. Fuck that. Riddles. Anyways, I'm not talking shit, haters. I'm not talking shit about my own nationality. I love Brazil. Anyways, fuck this. And then I made the money, paid the rent. Back then, my parents were a bit better, in a better condition. My mom went to college, studied Portuguese. She's a Portuguese teacher. My dad is years a taxi driver. They got on a loan and helped me to pay my English school in Ireland, which is, I never fucking went it. Right. Shouldn't even really pay that shit. I went 1 week, got a student visa, and Conor McGregor was only signing UFC, and I saw there wasn't much jiu-jitsu back then in here. It was only Team Briano and SBG. And I think that was it. Jorge Santos, some of the lads, Abinel, André Ramos, all the Brazilian ones, and we decided to open our own club. And then for that, I got a part-time job in a restaurant, which is, I met my missus there. I was working, I hit down the kitchen, Brazilian, the kitchen porter, washing dishes and all. And then every day I was coming in the door, she said, hi, yeah. I was like, hi, yeah. Oh, hi. Hiya. How are you today? How are you? Very yes there. No, only joking. She speaks properly. But she was out today at the door, and I invited her to do his leg line with me once. The balance rope. And then we start to cycle together for my Madrid Open. I went there in Madrid Open and then a couple of months later, she was helping me in the gym. She's like, Hugo, I'm late. And I was like, yeah, we have no meeting. What you mean we were late? It's like, now I'm in late, Hugo. And I was like, right, what time is it? She's like, no, you can't get Hugo. And I was like, what you mean? My name is Hugo. It's not Hugo. Yeah, and then she's like, and my period, Hugo. And I was like, what period? What are you on about? What season the year? Is it winter, summer? What are you on about? And then she's like, my blood, Hugo, the end of the month, every single woman go through that. And I was like, oh, right. Oh, shit. Panicking. And then she was like, I'm a month late. And I was like, right. be scary, but let's keep grafting. I didn't bother and kept working on the gym. And 2 months, like, she's like, Hugo, I'm too late. I was like, what you mean? She's like, I'm 2 months late. I was like, no, you're fucking 2 months late. You're 2 months fucking pregnant. And then she did the test, and that was Isabel coming out. And after that, years on the city center, D1 was my hometown, Summerhill.
So you had Arena Fight Club there.
Yeah.
And whereabouts? That was in Summerhill.
Summerhill, the first one was Summerhill.
Okay.
Literally Summerhill, 72 Summerhill, 72A Summerhill.
Okay.
And they're around the corner from Sydney Cyclists. But what happened was, I couldn't afford the full rent. I opened the gym with a bike shop in front, but it was right beside the Sydney Cycle around the corner,
all right,
which is an Irish business ears. Our windows got smashed. We almost got burned.
Yeah.
Go back to your own country. Like, imagine like a couple of Brazilians set up like a gym, and they were like, fuck yeah, box, yeah. Like, and I was like, lads, I'm nothing to do in the bike shop, but just because I couldn't afford the rent, I have to share. But afterwards, the bike shop left, and then they were cool with me. They were, oh, no sound, like, it was just a bike shop. You're opening a bike shop, right? And that was all cool afterwards. But I can't blame them, because if it was my business, if someone opened the same business right beside me, I would do the same thing. Like, I don't know who done, but like, anyways, it's gone in the past. And after that, we moved to 43 Gardner Lane, which is, I grew up in there a lot. We got gym equipment. I lived inside the gym for 4 years. I lived it, and we were like for 2 years looking for a place to. My daughter was almost turning 3 years old when she was living with her nanny.
Okay.
And we were looking for a place to live, and then we eventually find out the place where we are today. And that was a great crack living in the gym, but it was good for workout. We used to be everyone working up at 6 a.m. now, the lads, because it used to be a lot of fighters living there with me. I sponsor some people, like, they live there for free. Some people, like, because we used to get a mad electricity bills there. Like, used to be like, as a lot of people were living there, was like a Brazilian community. Yeah. Like, and a lot of people take a shower as students. With our electricity bill used to be like $2,000 per month.
Fuck.
Yeah. And it wasn't, well, we got good numbers at some point. We have like a fitness class with 60 girls. Like, we got like 200 members, like, paying. Yeah. Not much, because mainly their customers were all Brazilians, like, all under a student visa. Yeah. Nothing against, just the reality. Yes. I'm not being xenophobic because I'm fucking Brazilian. You know, it's just the reality for the haters.
Yeah. But sometimes as well, you close the gym then, you close that. Sometimes, I suppose, in life, I'm a bit older than you, you kind of have to fail at things or close things or walk away from things.
Best thing that ever happened to me, John.
But at the time,
was horrible. Went through the pressure.
Of course.
Fought against myself. It was like, no, it's my dream. And like, it's unreal, man. Yeah. It's unreal. I have no responsibility. I just go to Charlestown, do my workout, and get the fuck out.
Now it's
no, like, hassle.
Yvonne had a gym, which now she closed it. She had loads of members. She was making a lot of money, but
the peace
she closed it because her time was required elsewhere. But at the time, she was devastated closing it. So when people close gyms or walk away from gyms, I understand. Yeah. And at the time, like, she was crushed, and like you would have been by closing the gym.
Especially like now, it was 2016 European champion, the year after, gone, working as a beam man.
Yeah. Now though, you seem to be reinvigorated, because I see, and some people manage it well, but for fighters or competitors, have to be solely focused on themselves. Yeah. Not maybe teaching one, maybe 2 classes a week. That's it.
That's what I do.
No gyms, no paying fuckers, no this, no that. Why? Because 10% he gets dragged into paying people, 10% to pay the bills, 10% to pay the rates, and then when your training comes around, there's only 40% for you. When you should just be thinking about, what am I going to eat? I train, I sleep. That's
what I'm doing now.
No hassle.
Oh, and Roddy wants me to teach more class there in SBG Charlestown. But in fairness, I don't really want to. I love it. I love the idea. I love coach. I love, as a coach in Ireland, I have achieved a huge thing. Like I made it like little shit from the town as a like beautiful champion, Irish champion. Made like little scummy kids that were involved in trouble, like getting off that, getting a job. Like I changed a lot of people's life teaching to the Irish people, Brazilian people. I have like guys that were waiting to get their visa, like for Polish or like guys that fighting to find accommodation, slipped on the mats. I helped a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with what I done in the business, and I'm much happier now that I closed the business. When it was happened, I was obviously depressed. I couldn't understand, but now the time that I have with my kids, it's priceless.
Yeah.
The time that I have to train, like I don't have to teach. I teach my PTs, which is for money for my kids, and I have like 4 PTs per day, which is I love it. I love coach. As a coach, I achieved a lot as well, not only as a fighter, but I prefer fight. I prefer that emotion, that adrenaline. I prefer to be there, and especially now that I'm learning a lot in SBG, like I feel great under Owen Roddy. I feel great over there, like doing for everyone. That's dream life.
And then if you're teaching a couple of classes, what I mean is you can teach a couple of classes, and when that hour is up, it's Hugo time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For athletes that I'm talking about, you can teach a class. Owen has loyal customers. You teach his classroom. You give your hour, and then it's okay. My training.
Yeah.
You know, whereas when you're running a gym,
Oh no.
how many is in the class? Why wasn't he there? Why wasn't they there? You have to get them. So it can be tougher
Never
that way.
do that again.
No,
never, John. Like
tougher.
what a mistake I made. Like what I was thinking.
Come here,
Open a
everyone.
gym. What
But
is?
you have to make that mistake to realise where you are now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
at the time, I'd imagine, because Yvonne went through a similar thing, you're crushed, failure. Oh my God!
Because it was when I arrived here, it was like Jesus, that man is signing UFC like Conor McGregor, and then I was like, is that it? They have a jiu-jitsu in this country? Fuck this! I want to make a revenue of money here. Like I'm fucking deadly on it. Like I was like I'm like full. I was calling out of the fucking whole country. Let's go having a jiu-jitsu match now. Like I'm a father, you know. Like I'm inhale, exhale. I'm a peaceful man. But when I arrived here, like I was like, let's go grab each other, knee bars for life, leg locks, and
But
now
that's important also.
Yeah.
When you need to be like that. You
No,
don't want to be
no.
going in like a lamb either. But the bit of perspective is always good as well. You know what I mean?
But now I'm a
Sometimes
father.
violence is the only answer.
That's right, John. I cannot
Sometimes
disagree.
violence is
I
the only
cannot
answer.
disagree
You know what I
because
mean?
especially
You hold it back, but sometimes violence is required.
yeah, especially nowadays without this criminal things happen sometimes. Violence it isn't an option. It is the reality. You're gonna have to be violent to defend your family, defend someone that you love it.
And now you're starting MMA. And how are you finding the boxing aspect, the striking, the grappling, because it's different?
Look, it's very interesting. Like you cannot remember things on the next day. It's like a bit. It's different, you know, because it's moody. Like I don't have this moodiness of the striking, and the day after I can never remember because the amount of a punch that I get in the head. It's like, you know, I can't remember a thing on the next day. Even I was making a joke on Owen this week. Like it was like he taught us a sequence on Wednesday, and Monday was the striking class. I was like, "Did you understand? You just can't remember the sequence." I was a coach. Like you can't put a striking on a Monday and then want me to remember on a Wednesday. It's good. It's coming along. I have Owen helps me. Like plus like Carl is like 24/7. I see him more than I see my girlfriend. And Keith as well, that's car coach to help me. Like I have Sean McConnell, I have Kean Hogan on Saturdays helping me with Muay Thai. Basically, I'm doing striking every day. It's mainly what I do nowadays. I don't even put the gi on. Like I put the gi on as the only single class I teach in Charlestown is the gi class on Wednesday. And other than that, it's even like sometimes I'm your son partner in wrestling and Sergey, so I train wrestling once a week. to be taught wrestling once a week, and I'll train more than probably like training for Owens, training Clinton's, training for someone else like wrestling. But it's mainly striking, twice a striking per day, and I can't wait to throw them heads. I can't wait. They're gonna see a Brazilian grappler with Irish fist.
Over. And so I suppose moving on from your MMA, do you plan on doing super fights as well as MMA, or just solely focused on MMA, or a bit of both grappling and MMA?
Once I'm not facing Max in a super match, like I'm alright, you know. Once I'm not facing this 16 years old jumping on my leg, I'm alright with any match.
I just get me Mrs. D17 bathroom.
Yeah.
She's like, you can try all that. What she does is how she beats him. You know how my missus, she goes in, throws a duvet over him, tries to lump the head off.
I thought it was
throw the duvet so she lump the head off.
It's the spoon, isn't it? Like the Irishman is a spoon. What's the spatula?
Don't be trying all that mad shit on me. She goes in and lumps him around.
Hopefully that works for my kids. My kids they love jits as well. I don't know. Hopefully they love, but if they don't, they stick from some sport. Like, I don't care if it's rugby, I don't care if they do whatever they want to do. Once they are focused and they're dedicated, you know, teach them something for the personal life that brings from the sport to the personal life, or never give up and be a hard worker, because that counts a lot for the personal life. Because I had that. That's why when I crushed, I went to work as a beam man, like building sites, working as a builder, like 12 hours as a builder, and then I stopped and went to the gym to lift more weights. Then obviously I didn't have much sparring and everything. This is like comes from the sport, you know. My opinion. I'm not a scientist, I'm not a psychologist, but I use that. I take everything from jiu-jitsu for my personal life. Never.
And I suppose that what you just said there about getting the invite previously up to Roddy's and Roddy letting you come in, and now you're teaching and kind of jumping in on the team. Wayne Fagan, who's another black belt, I was on the phone to him. He rang me yesterday and he was talking about the same thing, about how welcoming Roddy is. Yeah. Wayne be talking about two lads he has, and Roddy's like, send them up. He's like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Wayne, it's like it's a local where I live now, and I was talking to him another day in internet, and he knows my Mrs. Auntie. You know, they used to all work together, and know my Mrs. Father, knows the whole family.
Wayne is cool, but Roddy's like that. You know what I mean? He wants everyone in. It's
another thing that I do not agree in Ireland, and I think that's a such a shit mindset. I'm like, we call in Portuguese, I am arroz de festa. It's like party rice. Because in Brazil, we love rice. Party rice you have in every party, you know, like every party. Yeah. You know, I train in every single fucking club in Ireland. I train in everywhere. I went to train in Team Rayana right beside my house. I went to train in George Santos, Andre Ham. Was like, I went training everywhere. And this is like that thing that, you don't have that mentality, you know. Like, that's why Max is good. Because he trained wrestling there, striking in here, there, and it drinks off every font there, like gets a bit here, a bit in there. And in Brazil is like this. We all train together. Obviously, you have your team who you rely to, the people that you trust to work with them on the weekend when you're tired, they motivate you and out. Like, it's good to have a team, but it's also good to the exchange techniques, and the sweat and getting new bodies in. And this is like so poor in Ireland. Even the Brazilian community, like a lot of times they're trying to set that out with all the Brazilians. Lads, we are all Brazilian. We all like making even a Brazilian community workout. I don't give a fuck. Like, if it's gonna be Brazilian or Irish, we all human beings. Invite all the black belts. We do one workout together. We all get started. We go to Europeans and IBJJF rocket. Ireland is the strongest place to work jits in Europe. But people are too busy. Oh no, they do this, they do that, they don't do that. We all work out together.
I think the IMAFs is kind of weeding that out a little. Now, I would take a lot of guidance from Owen. You know, I'd take a lot of guidance, and John Kavanagh and Sergey. Like, they were all in headquarters before. You know what I mean? Yeah. So the reason why Max trains in Nace and trains at Roddy is because, like, Sergey has been Max's wrestling coach from day one. Roddy has been his jiu-jitsu coach from day one. So I do agree with what you're saying, but with MMA, I probably wouldn't let him go to other MMA gyms.
Oh no, I'm talking
Just
about
because-
jits and
but jits is
wrestling now. No,
different.
in MMA it's a lot of ego
But-
out there,
but-
business.
It's I don't think the jiu-jitsu community in Ireland is big enough to be picky the way they're
Yeah.
picky. For me,
Exactly, that's what I'm thinking. Like
It's
it's
not
too
big enough.
small.
Yeah,
It's
it's
too
too-
small for we separate, segregate.
whereas you go to Brazil, there's 100 cunts on the mat. You go to fucking Gracie Barra, bleeding whatever,
Yeah.
Corbicha in Brazil, there's 150 cunts on the
Yeah.
mat. Here, 15, 7, 10, 20.
If we all got
you know.
together, imagine how good we.
It should,
be.
it should be like that.
Yeah.
Like coming up to Europeans for 3
Yeah, the
months
European
now. Everyone
continent,
that's gone
yeah.
to Europeans, all meeting at each other's gyms.
That's
milling
all
each other,
I agree 100%
you know.
of that.
It
That's
should
my
be like
conception.
that. MMA is a bit different, I think.
If we're
There's
avoiding
certain
injuries,
blokes.
because no,
and
I'm
plus, the pool is that small, you're probably going to be fighting some of them blokes anyway. But the IMAFs is kind of weeding that out with the Team Ireland training. But I do agree with you, it's a bit clicky. It's fairly clicky, you know.
Yeah.
But I do agree with you on that. But Hugo, I'm gonna let you go home to your missus
Before they get
because
more.
give that missus yours. She's a sandbagger. Give her a purple belt because I've rolled her.
No.
She's not a bleeding white belt. She's a
She's
sandbagger
not.
purple belt.
No,
Stop sandbagging, Nicola.
No, sandbag for life. I got sandbagging on my purple I was like, not sandbag because my coach is very old style. I was spent like 5 years and 9 months my purple, 6 years and something in my brown. Jesus, too many years. Couldn't even count.
I'm not gonna feel the rat on ma.
I don't
I'm not
care.
gonna
She's
feel
gonna
the
be
rat
sounded
on
bag unless she wins the awards in Europeans.
Hugo, give me your Instagram.
It's HUGO, Hugo, you go and I go, and BORIM. That was very hard to spell in English.
Give
Jesus
him a
Christ.
follow on Instagram. Hugo also does privates. And again, another shout out to your supplement sponsor.
Unitas Life, Intramind, and it also works as a transex and it's around the Chieftain's Green if you want to book me in there, like in the website, right? Brazilian.
No worries. That's us from the Straight Talking podcast this week. Bit of a new setup. I will have a few t-shirts for next week. With one is Yup the Lallies. That's one t-shirt.
I can want one of
the
that.
Lallies, the Straight Cast podcast, and the Straight Talking podcast, and the other one is Feelings Aren't Facts. Yup.